On the phone with us is the one and only Congressman with guts, hopefully soon to be Senator with guts, Alan Grayson. How's it going, sir?
It's going great, particularly when you fill my ears with beautiful words like that. I couldn't possibly feel better.
Oh, well, I am a South Florida native who, how could I see you as anything but the future senator from Florida with a whole heck of a lot of guts? Anyhow, I heard you had a conversation with Secretary Kerry today, and what was all that about?
Well, I wanted to ask him two things, and he was gracious enough to actually answer the questions, which you can't take for granted in Washington, D.C.
No.
I'm almost unique among the member of Congress because I ask questions for a particular reason. I actually want to hear the answers, as opposed to making a speech that runs on for 4 minutes and 59 seconds and then saying, "What do you think?" So I asked him whether... and I asked him to answer this yes or no. I asked him whether he thought that the Iranians were sticking to the agreement, the nuclear agreement, and God bless him, he actually gave me a one-word answer. He said yes.
Wow.
I thought that was a magnificent breakthrough in political discourse and diplomacy to get...
Single-word answers are a unique breakthrough, absolutely.
And I asked him whether there was any indication that the Iranians were using the money they got for terrorism. He said that's an answer I can give you only in a classified setting, which I thought was a reasonable response on his part. And then they asked him whether it appeared that Iran was trying to become a nuclear threshold state, which is a phrase, a sort of a loaded phrase that was used a few months ago to describe Iran's ambitions with or without the agreement. He said they were, they are no longer, and there's no indication that they're trying to become one again. All fair responses from the Secretary. I then asked him a question that's been on my mind for a long time, which is why are we not asking our allies in the region to fight ISIS and provide ground troops?
Brilliant question. Absolutely.
I suggested that more than a year ago, and his answer to me more than a year ago is, well, we haven't asked them. That caused me a lot of consternation, I have to say, so I asked him on my own and got some interesting answers. Today I asked him the same question more than a year later, and he said, we are asking them. And those discussions are happening right now. And I've thought of this for a long time as a Sunni problem that should be solved by the local Sunni governments in the region. And it seems to me that I may have won that argument because he tells me now that that's exactly what the administration is trying to accomplish.
I think that is amazing news. Absolutely. In terms of our, financial strain in the region, in terms of our men and women in military having to go into that situation in terms of the war on ISIS. Congrats on all three.
Thank you.
Yes. May I inquire about a recent poll I saw online? Is that off limits?
No, that's fine. Let's talk about that. The website is GraysonPrimary.com, and what I'm doing as a superdelegate, someone who will actually be voting for either Bernie or for Hillary at the Democratic Convention in July, I'm a superdelegate. I'm asking people how I should vote. And the surprising thing to me is that nobody else has asked this question before.
Yeah.
I mean, here we are. There's 712 of us, and I seem to be the only one who is cognizant of this concept called democracy. And I have the title of representative, so I think I'm actually supposed to represent people. And I wanted their input, not just who they favored, but why they favored one or the other. So we established a website called GraysonPrimary.com, and it's grown like wildfire. It's been just a few days since we started it. 300,000 people
oh my goodness
have come to the website, GraysonPrimary.com, and they've not just voted, but they've given their best arguments for either candidate they favor, and they're very interesting to me. There is a certain wisdom among ordinary people, and even a certain eloquence among ordinary people that I find really fascinating. So I'm just as interested to read the reasons that people give as to actually see what the final vote tally is. We're going to wrap it up in the next couple of days. But if there's anybody who wants to get it off their chest, why you support Hillary, why you support Bernie, please come to our website and tell me. I'm listening. I'm here to listen, and I have a responsibility as a superdelegate to vote for one or the other. I want to know what people think. And I will say I'm grateful for the fact that people are willing to take the time to come to the website and state their reasons. And I'm concerned about the fact that, to some extent, the system has been rigged.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. If either candidate gets all the superdelegate votes, the other candidate has to win by 18 points in order to have a chance of getting the nomination. So candidate A gets all the superdelegate votes. Candidate B has to win by 59 to 41 in the 50 states across the union, plus the Puerto Rico and so on, the other entities that have a vote at the convention, in order to just have a chance of getting the nomination. Frankly, that doesn't seem right to me. That I want my party to be the Democratic Party, not the undemocratic
Exactly.
party.
I keep thinking back to, we constantly hear how Obama lost the House in 2010. But if you look at the popular vote versus jerry-rigging, the national vote, the popular vote, Democrats got more votes. That if it went by the will of the people, right, we would have kept the House. I thought that Republicans are the ones that went with taking a win despite losing the popular vote. I don't want to see that happen to our party.
Yes, you're referring actually to 2012, not 2010.
Excuse me.
But
thank you.
I understand where you're coming from, and it is true that, and odd, that we can end up 20-plus votes short in the House of Representatives when, in fact, we won the popular vote nationwide. And the superdelegates lend themselves to the same sort of potential mischief and even abuse of democracy. For 100 years now, the Democratic Party, going back to the populist movement, has recognized that we should not choose our candidates in the smoke-filled rooms. And it shouldn't be up to the establishment to decide who carries our banner into the general election. And the Republicans don't do it this way. Almost all the Republican superdelegates are required, according to party rules, to vote for the candidate who wins their state.
Yeah, and
the Democrats have what amounts to a rather undemocratic system. So even though I'm one of the people who actually has the power to make that decision, I don't think it should be that way. And that's why we've invited people to come to GraysonPrimary.com and tell me who you think I should vote for.
I think it's brilliant, and so back to the roots of the great values that this country was founded on. And I think your history in the state of Florida shows what happens when party leaders and party elders try to tell the voters that they shouldn't support the candidate they support. And you proved more than once that doing that is a recipe, to have the people stand against the quote unquote establishment, the party leaders, and come back with a vengeance. And look at, I'm watching your campaign in Florida. I see how much support you're getting with the basic principle of, hey, listen to the people. It seems like common sense to me.
It's power to the people. Honestly, what the establishment has done is try to take power away from the people. It's basically a zero-sum game in politics. Either the people, the Democratic Party members, get to decide who our candidates are, or the party poobahs, the Politburo, gets to decide that. There's no alternative. There's no way to finesse that. And I'm strongly in favor of letting the people decide. I mean, for goodness sake, if we're going to expect people to show up and vote in November, don't we let them? Aren't we obliged? Aren't we committed to having those same people decide who are our candidates in our primaries and otherwise? I think it's a moral imperative.
I think so too. And the American people said we don't want to go fight another war in the Middle East on behalf of countries that are very oil rich, very financially rich, and have the third largest military on the planet. I see you standing up for that and standing up for the basic principle that we get to decide who we vote for. Those are people's issues on both counts for me.
Well, the interesting thing is that when you do open it up for people's participation, they very much want to participate.
Yes.
They recognize that enemy is the enemy. We have to get over this idea that, it's so complicated and so difficult, and there's nothing you can do to make anything better. You just have to try to protect what you've already got, and blah, 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 blah. It's not true. I mean, look, I'm a perfect example of that. I've passed more amendments in the House of Representatives controlled by the Republicans, and I'm a progressive Democrat. I passed more amendments than any other member of the House of Representatives in the past 3 years, Democratic or Republican, 54 amendments on the House. And every time there's a party line vote, I lose, so I have to find a way to win. There are now 25 Grayson bills that have been passed by the House, passed by the Senate, and signed by the president. They're now the law of the land. So you can't just like throw up your hand and say, oh, geez, well, it's too complicated, it's too difficult. No, you have to dig in there. You have to fight for what's right. You have to fight because people are counting on you to do something good for them in their lives. And you also have to involve them. And that's the real key. That's why I'm so excited that we've had 300,000 people vote already at GraysonPrimary.com. You know, a couple of years ago when the Social Security cuts were looming, the so-called chain CPI, and the fix was in, and the leaders of both parties were suggesting that we should cut Social Security benefits. I said, hell no. And we established our nocuts.com website.
Yep.
I wrote out a petition saying that we were against any and every cut in Social Security and Medicare benefits. And lo and behold, 3 million people signed our petition.
It's common sense. Congressman Alan Grayson, soon to be the senator with guts, if you ask me. Thank you for fighting for the people.
Thank you.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.